It's Friday, March 17th, 2023. A lot to talk about today. More bad news. It's incredible what is taking place in the financial sector right now. It was a bad day for the markets. Dow Jones down almost 400 points today. NASDAQ down 87. Markets across the board down. And we've just continued to get more bad news about what's happening in banking. The question is, what bank is next? It's just an incredible time. We're witnessing a flight to safety to gold. Gold was up over $70 today, broke $2,000 an ounce. Silver up over $1, approaching $23 an ounce. And as I make this video, Bitcoin up $2,700. Now, I'm not a crypto fan. You know that. You can hate me for that. But to me, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And what I find amazing is watching these bank collapses over the past week. Every one of these banks was tied into crypto. And now we're watching a flight to safety where people are taking money. They're buying bonds, they're buying gold, they're buying silver, and they're buying crypto. But it amazes me when you're seeing crypto exchanges close, crypto banks close, that people are looking at this as safety. I don't understand it one bit. And to me, they're going to just allow people to run to crypto and then just pull the rug out from under it like they're doing with these regional banks right now. But everybody has free will. Be cautious with your money. Be as diversified as possible. But one thing that I truly believe right now is if you do not hold it, you do not own it. You need to be able to access your money quickly. It needs to be somewhere where you can get to it physically. If your money, if your investments are on a computer screen, there is huge counterparty risk. Remember that. A couple things I want to talk about. First one coming from CNBC. First Republic Bank shares slid almost 33% today after deposit infusion. This is a big problem. And now they're saying the infusion of $30 billion may not be enough. They may need billions more. Is this bank going to be sold? Is this bank going to just collapse? Comment down below. I would like to know your thoughts. But another question is, and please feel free to comment, who's next? If this bank, if nobody saw this, which I find hard to believe, then who's next? How bad are some of these banks right now? And how come the regulators were not alerted to the problems at SVB? Shocking, isn't it? So you have to ask yourself, is this all deliberate? Is this just an assault on the regional banks so that the bigger banks become more powerful? We've seen such an infusion of billions of dollars running into these big banks, and just the damage that is taking place to the regional banks. Is this being done on purpose or not? Banks take advantage of Fed crisis lending programs. This is on CNBC. Banks borrowed $153 billion from the Fed, and the Fed eased conditions at the discount window to make it more attractive for these banks to borrow. So why would they have to borrow all this money? Why would they want to if things were so good? And what does this mean for inflation? How can this be good for inflation? $153 billion being borrowed by banks. This to me seems like we're going to see more inflation. And this $153 billion, this is more than half the money that was borrowed from the 2008 crisis. So something is happening behind the scenes. Something has broken without a doubt. And every time a politician comes out, or somebody from the Fed comes out, or somebody from the Treasury comes out and tells you, don't worry, don't panic, everything's okay, banks are safe, you better get very, very worried. The hedge today, Goldman, small medium banks account for 50% of C&I, that's commercial and industrial lending, 45% of consumer lending, and 80% of all commercial real estate lending. Now, I watched Fox Business earlier today, and they had Kevin O'Leary on as a guest, Mr. Wonderful, and he thinks that regional banks should just be done with. And this is a guy who took, what, $15 million from FTX a year prior, said that cryptos were rat poison, but then FTX gave him $15 million, and he could not sponsor it faster than you could spin your head. He all of a sudden loved loved crypto, was a big fan of crypto, and I guess most people would be if somebody gave you $15 million to sponsor this stuff. But he thinks that regional banks should be done with, and he doesn't see any place for them. And so I completely disagree. And when you look at what's happening to regional banks right now and how much lending they do, the pressure they're under right now, this to me really means we're going to see this economy stagnate, as they're not going to be doing consumer lending or commercial real estate loans or C&I loans. This to me means we're going to see a huge slowdown in the economy. The smaller banks, no doubt, being hammered. So even if a bank was healthy, with the contagion that started this week, people are in panic mode. People pulling a lot of money. $550 billion this week of depositor money was drained. And where did it go? It went to bigger banks. So a smaller regional bank could have been in great shape, but because of the fear, because of the panic that was put out there, people ran and pulled money out of the banks, and many put it in bigger banks. And this, to me, you have to ask, was this purposely done to really hurt and beat down the smaller banks, making the bigger banks much stronger as those inflows from the smaller banks went into the bigger banks? The hedge. The Fed is broke. Jeffrey Gundlach likes gold fears expanding wars the most. He said the goal for 2023, and I think this is the goal, is survival and losing as little money as possible. He says the Fed is broke. The Fed's balance sheet is negative $1.1 trillion. There's nothing they can do to fight the problems except print money. And this means you're going to see a lot more inflation. This is going to be extremely good for gold, going to be extremely good for silver. He says, get real assets, get land, he says, get gold, and get collectibles. The dollar will collapse under the weight of the deficit. Jeffrey Gundlach. So I think he makes a lot of sense right here. And I can't disagree with it one bit. Land, gold, collectibles. I still think you got to have some cash till it does collapse. But think about what we are talking about today. If we were having this discussion 5 or 10 years ago, people would think you're absolutely nuts. Just take a look at what is transpiring right now. King World News. Accidental banking system failure? Don't believe it. Are the bank failures deliberate? Comment down below. I want to know what you think about this. Is this being done on purpose? Was this a coincidence? Is this an accident? Are central banks deliberately causing economic freefall? There's a very good possibility they are. It says in the article, it's not the banks that are in trouble. It's us. It's you and I who are in trouble here, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a big, big problem for the economy, your standard of living, putting food on the table, staying employed. This is going to be a big, big problem. I mean, look at when a bank went down. People couldn't even get paid. They couldn't even get their paycheck. They couldn't make rent. They couldn't make the mortgage payment. They couldn't go to the grocery store. And we know that 60 to 70% of this country is living paycheck to paycheck. So as I asked earlier, where were the regulators? Why did they not see this? Did they just turn a blind eye and let it go? I have no idea. Here's another one that I think we really have to think about today. What if tomorrow morning you woke up and all banks were closed, all ATMs were closed, debit cards didn't work, everything was just shut off. So think about if these banks were going to be shut down for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, until authorities could get the contagion under control. So no banks, no ATMs, no credit cards, no debit cards. How would you eat? How would your family eat? And most of all, how would you protect yourself? How would you protect your family? You know, I watch a lot of news. I watch a lot of videos. I read a lot of data. And unfortunately, everybody's looking at this from a monetary point or a financial point, and they're not looking at it from a social point. We know that when people miss 9 meals, you're going to have massive chaos. People are going to go absolutely ballistic. And think about if things just shut down for 2 weeks, just 2 weeks. What if it was 3 or 4 or 5? But what would you see in 2 weeks? You would see things you never thought humanly possible. You would see really dangerous times. And we have to just stop thinking about, well, if I have money or if I have gold or silver, and you should be prepared financially, no doubt about it. But you better be prepared for a social breakdown. Remember, if you can't protect your cash, your gold, your silver, your food, your water, somebody's just going to take it. And so as I watch these videos and I watch the news, everybody has a plan financially, but nobody seems to be planning socially for what's going to take place. Your worst nightmare, your worst enemy might turn out to be your neighbor. It might turn out to be somebody from your church. People are going to get hungry, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to get desperate. They're going to get angry. They're going to get mad. If their kids are starving, they're not going to care about you or your kids. They don't care that you planned ahead. They don't care that you have food and water. All they care about is how they're going to take it from you. They don't care if you eat. They don't care if your kids are going to eat. It's going to be survival of the fittest. And like Jeffrey Gundlach said, it's going to be about survival and not just financially. And I think this is so important. I think a lot of people are too scared to really face it. I think it makes people feel very, very uncomfortable that things could get this nasty. And most people are unprepared to deal with force. They're unprepared to deal with violence. It's scary. But if you don't deal with it right now, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to come a time and a point that you're going to have to, and you're going to be completely unprepared. And that means that you could get hurt. Your family could get hurt. Everything you worked for could be taken. All that food that you put away and prepared could be taken. You're just planning and preparing for somebody to take it, ladies and gentlemen. And there's no way that I would ever allow that to happen here. So please don't come to my house. Everybody in my family has been warned. You take care of yourself. You are being warned right now to have your own food, your own water, your own money, your own preparations. Yes, we will help one another out, but there's no way I'm helping anybody out, whether they're in my family or outside of my family. There's no way I'm helping anybody out who did not prepare and plan for this. If they need something and we're all on the same page and they've been planning, of course, I would step in and help. They need a medical kit or first aid kit, a trauma kit, or they need security, or they need some type of food. No problem, because they've put away for all that. And they would, hopefully, if I needed something, if I needed a bag of rice or needed somebody to help me out fixing something, I would hope that they would be there for me. But I'm not helping people who have not planned or prepared for themselves. But that's why we need to have a very close community of like-minded people. The friends that I have are all people who are preparing. And let me tell you, that network of friends has gotten very, very thin. You could probably all relate to the same thing. You find out who's fake, who's not, who's really walking the walk, who really isn't. There's people that can talk every day about what to do, but they're not doing it. They're just talking it. They're just talking and walking and, telling you what to do. And, but these people are not planning. They are not preparing. And it is so important right now to be walking the walk and not just talking. Walk the walk, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people out there will talk every day about how bad it is. But if it was that bad, why are they not preparing? Because they don't really believe how bad it's going to get. They don't believe, they can talk about it. Even though they talk about it, they don't even believe what they're saying. Because if they did, they would actually be preparing. And I'm begging every one of you, this is Friday. You got the whole weekend. Add to your preparations. Get the extra food, the extra water, get the extra gold, silver, put some extra cash away. Most of all, ladies and gentlemen, you better have security. And there's so many people out here that talk about preparations and they never mention security, or they might say security, but their security is a cell phone, so they can call authorities who will not be coming to help them, or it's an alarm system which is not going to do anything for you, or it's an extra lock on the door. That's not security. It's great to have, ladies and gentlemen, but you better have real security, and you better know how to use the proper tools, and you better have the proper tactics, because this could get really out of control very, very quickly. And remember, we have anarchy once people miss 9 meals. So I'm going to wrap it up right here. I don't want to make this video too long, but just a couple quick things in closing. This weekend out in the desert, we have the BNP tennis tournament. So we have 400,000 people in town for 2 weeks watching the tennis tournament. And you know, we have a lot of people at the restaurants, a lot of people driving around, and it's just shocking that it seems almost like people are just ignoring what is taking place. And you see people out there oblivious to what is taking place, oblivious to what happened in the markets today, oblivious to what's happening in the banking system right now, oblivious to what's happening to the retirements, what's about to happen to the standard of living. I'm all for a good time. I think you should have balance in your life, but it is really, really shocking how much money people will pay to come out here, watch a tennis tournament. We have Coachella Fest coming very soon too. I think it's $800 for the weekend. You'll be spending $1,000+ a night for a hotel, $600 for a Motel 6, and people will spend this, rack up the credit cards, not even worry about what's happening to the markets, what's happening to the banking system, what's happening to the retirements, what's happening to their futures. People just don't care. It really is shocking, and I think many of you can relate to it. Many of you write to me, and many of you have been writing in the comments what you're seeing and what you're feeling, and you don't have a good feeling about where this is all going. But many of you have written about the same thing, how people are just zombies, oblivious to reality, and just ignoring all of these warning signs. I mean, we just saw gold break $2,000 an ounce today. What does that tell you? Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. And we've had, what, 4 bank collapses in a week? I mean, the market should have been down over 1,000 points today, in my opinion. It's just shocking what is taking place. I mean, we're watching history take place. We've never seen anything like this. And they're doing everything in their power to keep this whole thing propped up. These markets should have melted down today. Really should have melted down. It is something. So one other thing, somebody commented last night saying that I've changed my opinion on what the Fed rate interest rate hike will be next week. I went from 50 to 25, and somebody just said, "Oh, look, you're already changing your answer and you're flip-flopping." It's like, well, yeah, after you watch 4 bank collapses in a week, yeah, I think I will change my answer. It won't be 50 basis points. It will be 25 basis points. I mean, think about the ignorance of people like this, that don't ever change your mind because the market's changing or because 4 banks went out, just collapsed. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. So, don't change your answer. No, it won't be 50 basis points. It will be 25 basis points. And that just means the cost of service debt is going to continue to go up. And we're going to see banks lending a lot less. Rates are going to go up. It's just an incredible time, ladies and gentlemen. Take a little time this weekend to take care of your preparations. Get in better physical shape. Get in better mental shape. Get in survival mode. That's all I can say. Get in survival mode. It's not just gold and silver and cash and food. You better have your house in order when it comes to security. You need to be prepared. When you look at what's taking place right now, the crime that is out there right now, these are the good times. Wait till you see what is about to come. It's going to be disastrous. and people are just not going to be prepared for it. Don't come to my house. I'm not going to be able to protect you. I have my own family to protect. I have my own pets to protect, and make sure you're getting extra food for your pets. But don't come to my house for protection. Don't come to my house for food. You have been warned, whether you're a family member or a personal friend of mine, or somebody watching this today. Don't come to my house. There just isn't going to be anything there for you. And by the time, hopefully, I'm in the South on a ranch when this happens, and I can have 2 big American Bulldogs or a couple Malinois or a couple Dutch Shepherds, along with Nugget and Gigi. And I'll be watching this from a television, not my front window. Have a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Stay safe out there. Be preparing. God bless you all. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. And I look forward to speaking with all of you very, very soon.